What are the causations of the bedroom graveyard? Why gender in this situation is irrelevant? And what to do about it. There seems to be an inevitable decrease of bedroom action, which has many causes, from boredom to too much action, and a few other reasons. Let me bend your ear for a few ticks as I provide some experience and anecdotes to what seems to be a constant occurrence in relationships that are supposed to be about love, life, and long-time companionship. Without life, love, and doing it, families are finito, finished. A family consists of a man, woman, and a non-select number of children. But the traditional family seems to have gone the way of the dodo bird. Not by accident, as some work was put into making it so. Speaking of work, life, love, companionship is 100% work, meaning no matter how sweet things may be, it isn't that way simply by itself. It requires two beings working to become better beings, being better, solely and collectively. This includes patience. Every moment of any type of relationship is best spent on developing a deeper connection with each other. The initial task at hand is to open up a hurt locker of painful dialogue and disclose true intentions and visions of what to expect from each other. Look them directly into their eyes, speak firmly, and lay it on the line. Otherwise, down the line, a disconnect takes place, and without the aforementioned in your face, no BS conversation, the likings of a bedroom graveyard is imminent. When and if any type of relationship begins to show signs of trouble, some individuals work on the necessary solutions, and others just keep it moving, which has problematic implications because it is backwards to get into a whole relationship under the guise of life, love, and companionship, just to move on to the next willing and waiting participant. Because what happens is that we get what society has been and is right now. Laziness also plays a part in these situations, but not completely. Let me explain. My experience in the category of bedroom graveyards is that after a certain amount of time during a relationship, one or more people stop doing the physical and mental things that they may have once done during the inception of the relationship. That is to say that one or more persons may have only wanted a physical relationship, but did not communicate their true intentions effectively. I have to give the benefit of doubt because most do not know themselves enough to learn to communicate effectively with others. That said, in these days and time of information, there's no excuse for any type of lack of communication. Ignorance of anything is no excuse. Allowing another to treat you unfavorably breeds a disconnect that will ultimately doom the bedroom with even the most compatible people. I mentioned laziness, and in my experience, roughly around 6 months to a year, copulation begins to taper off. Interest and attention decreases, and no amount of work on self or the relationship will keep them. Because when the other person craves new tips from him, and her, it's a wrap. Move on to cut your losses and choose better vetting measures in the future. This applies to all parties. I can say that out of all of the relationships that I have endured within my lifetime, only two to my knowledge were cheaters, of which was the reason for the disconnect. After many gaslighting incidents, one chick even said to me that she wanted both of us, meaning me and the side dude. Or maybe I was the side dude. Knowing it was done, my curiosity piqued, and in her explanation, she mentioned my size, strength, and energy and his money as she waited for some explosive outbursts that did not come. Really goes to show that she didn't know me to expect an unbalanced emotional outburst. And further, to tell me that you want me and another person as if that's acceptable, yeah, I'ma go. Yeah, I'ma get out of here. Well, it turns out that she had never been faithful from jump. I could attribute it to lack of experience of vetting on my part back then, because I saw the red flags but did nothing about them, and that was on me. So I removed myself from that situation. Because never settle for less, because you miss out on more. Now, do not conflate that last part to being a disloyal male or female bed hopper. It also came out that she, an ex, was foolishly boinking her boss's husband, who was, drumroll please, the other person. How do I know this? Well, shortly after she had no job, and she appeared to not be around him any longer, as she was around me. No, I'm good. How about you go that way and stay that way? And as the fictional character Forrest Gump once said, stupid is as stupid does. Because in this case, sleeping with a newly acquired job's boss's husband is beyond stupid. It was a career kamikaze. I was not lazy, broke, and paid exclusive attention to her and our relationship. And the bedroom graveyard reared its ugly head anyway. This means that even when one is doing what's necessary for self and others, those others may still step out on you. Vet them all properly, and when it is known that they are a problem, become the solution and set them free. Hey, I'm just laying it down. It's up to you what you pick up. Another reason for bedroom graveyards is what some call boredom. Question: how does one get bored of having their world rocked in a stable relationship? Answer: greedy, non-compliant, and selfish beings. An additional reason would be what I call the treadmill effect, meaning he or she is doing the same things with no deviation whatsoever, not going nowhere or anywhere, which leads to being taken for granted, among other things. Another example is I've had chicks who just wanted to lay during copulation, coming and going crazy, but with lazy body movements. And for some, that's okay. But the same way that I'm putting in work within the bedroom, so should she. Besides, it makes better sessions and the outcome more memorable. Shout out to 75 Sly, as his recent stream spoke about dead bedrooms. The heavily flawed individual mentioned having a regular conversation on sex drive compatibility, and it is not addressed as often as it should be, and with discussions on the regular, solutions are crafted, but only for those who are interested in solutions. Otherwise, it's a gigantic waste of time. Another bedroom fun killer is drugs and alcohol. Now this one, in my opinion, adds and subtracts from the bedroom romping. Here's what I mean. I can only speak to booze and buds, as my life experiences in the past included both. As an introverted being, I drank mostly at home. There were just a few times where I found myself at a bar for the ambiance, and I ended up knocking back a few Guinnesses and maybe a shot or two, and afterwards, I was hornier than an incel at a nun convention. Do not let me be misunderstood. I do not have any issues with my libido, but booze and beer sends my sex drive into overdrive. Besides, some people go directly to bars for booze and babes that ultimately will add to this conversation. Also, and speaking of buds, I once got hold of a strain of Mary Jane that had me deep stroking my lady friend something fierce for over 4 hours. Yes, orgasm on both sides were present, but I had the energy to just keep going, and of course, she loved every second, minute, and hour of it. I recall her mentioning how no one had done what I had done. I took that with a grain of salt because you never really know the truth in what others say sometimes. There also were times where booze and buds put me down for the count without any loving. I once had the displeasure of knowing an alcoholic female who would get fall down drunk on a regular basis and frisky after having a few, which was fun for 2 seconds, because she dried up as a result of being drunk. Aside from that, she appeared to always be grumpy and dissatisfied with life. It wasn't until I knew that she was a bartender in college then it all made sense as to how and why she could drink so excessively and why she was so miserable. When one or more people stop participating in love relationships and even mere physical relationships, mark the beginning of the end of any sort of a relationship. Lack of effort, complacency, animosity, disloyal fakes, lack of respect, flat-out liars, no attention to detail, and sexual deviance are just a few of the occurrences during any type of relationship that will most certainly red rum one or more people's boom boom time. It is a shame and a crime, in my opinion, to get into any type of relationship and, number 1, lie to get laid. 2, star hot and heavy but decrease activity without some form of discussion during the relationship. And 3, unnecessarily playing games with another. Life is too short to not have sexual compatibility conversations. Besides, that's the behavior of non-experienced teens and kids whose minds should not be on anything sexual. Lastly, I've also found to be true that females like or love some sort of drama. And those types cannot get wet without certain amounts of mental and emotional gymnastics. I believe most individuals crave some sort of drama, as humans being human. Because I can admit to some drama that leads to sex and rekindling the action within the bedroom. The thing is that it's toxic to want to fight just to have intimate time. And there are far better and more beneficial ways to reignite passions within the sheets and on the pillows. Part of adulting correctly is knowing you well enough to know them, whomever they are. And that's the reality.